Legend of Zelda Remake could be on the horizon because just a couple days ago we did get Nintendo to put out a Legend of Zelda Remake. That's it, no context, no nothing. So it makes a lot of sense for one reason, because if you don't remember, a couple months ago we did get a massive outbreak of information on a Legend of Zelda Remake is coming out soon, and that was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time full ground up remake. Now this was really nice and really great because this game really deserves it, and seeing a ground up remake would just make sense. Now of course, it's not confirmed or anything by Nintendo. Nintendo is a very reliable source and I would trust what he says. He's not really like a trickster, jokester, just puts out random stuff, not even leaker heck. So maybe Nintendo has heard something from sources across the world, who knows? But speaking more on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I think it does make sense to see this game, because think about it, when you look at The Legend of Zelda, you see a bunch of different things that point towards just maybe a full-blown remake. Or is it going to be a Lego game of The Legend of Zelda? Because hear me out. If you looked at the recent Lego sets, you see Ocarina of Time and Link holding the Master Sword and a shield, which makes a lot of sense. That points towards Ocarina of Time, but also we are going to be seeing the Ocarina of Time Deku Tree, so that also points towards the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time maybe being part of this remake. It wouldn't be too far off to say that Nintendo is doing something big with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, because think about it. This game released all the way back on the N64. Sure, it was a pretty good game, but then there's a lot of players across the internet, including me, that just look at that and just, they can't bother to play it. It's either the camera controls are super hard and awkward, and they're just, maybe the graphics make you sick. Who knows? And then you got ported to the 3DS. Why you can't get yourself a 3DS? You can't play it. It's a whole mess. So a full-blown remake from the ground up with extra visuals, because if you look at something like this would be really cool. Like something that looks realistic, because the Nintendo Switch 2 is more than powerful enough to run a game that looks very similar to this. Because honestly, if you've played the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom in 4K on Switch 2, it honestly looks really good. It might not be as impressive as this right here, because this was captured on probably an RTX 4090 or something like that. But it still goes to show that, hey, the Switch 2 could potentially have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time like this. Because if we are going to be getting a remake, I think that Ocarina of Time would be the game to get a remake. Now, of course, you might say that this game has already gotten a remake, but I feel like that wasn't really a remake, but a remaster. When it was ported to the 3DS, there was some things that were changed, but it wasn't really a full remake, like a ground up remake, doing everything to make the game like a brand new game. Like if you look at The Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds, now that was essentially A Link to the Past, but that was a pretty much ground up remake, I would say. Sure, it follows pretty much the same story as A Link to the Past in a way, but it's very different in so many different ways, as I would say. So overall, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time could be seeing some sort of remake. I think it would make a lot of sense to be seeing this game return, because imagine the endless possibilities. You can maybe wake up in the Kakariko Forest and you'll be like walking around, my goodness, these trees look good. Maybe it's going to be a different story, it's going to fall into different hands, or maybe it's going to be the same story but just with different art style, different controls, and things like that. Because I don't know if a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake or remaster would even make sense at this point, because this game is older, and at this point remastering it, sure, you could change it to 4K, but at that point you would need to change up some of the textures, and a whole bunch of stuff would need to be done with this game to make it pretty much suitable for 2026 at that point. So a ground up remake would make a lot of sense. I'm just saying here. But one other game that could be seeing a remake could actually be the Oracle games, because there was actually a leak a couple months ago, I would say, well, a little bit after the Ocarina of Time big leak, that was suggesting these games would return. Now, we didn't see them this year for the Nintendo Direct at some point. We're going to see it this year, but maybe it's going to be pushed back into 2026. There's going to be the Oracle games that are maybe going to be merged together. Instead of buying 2 games, they're going to be merged, and this could be the remake that we're talking about. Who knows? It could be something very, very interesting, but at the same time, the Legend of Zelda series has so many different ways to explore, so many different ways to play the game. So if you wanted a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, hey, there you go. The Ocarina of Time remake could be the one because of, again, the Legos that we are getting, the different things that Nintendo is sharing on Ocarina of Time. And also, I wanted to say that maybe one other game, now that I think about it, is Twilight Princess. Now, I've been saying for a long time that we are going to be seeing Twilight Princess 4K, but I didn't really anticipate it to be a remake, but more like a remaster. A remaster is, of course, pretty much taking the same game with better textures and leaving it alone. Remake is pretty much remaking it. So maybe could we see a remake of Twilight Princess? Instead of seeing a remaster, we would see different things happening in Twilight Princess. But who knows? I feel like Twilight Princess is definitely a game that is more suitable for 2026 to just get a port or a remaster or whatever it is, it would work fine. But the Oracle games, would you really want to buy 2 of the same essentially Legend of Zelda game? Instead, maybe we can see just one game that would be merging both of the Oracle games together. So then you have a Legend of Zelda game that, hear me out, it has the Oracle of Seasons in it, and maybe the story is a little bit different because of course you gotta merge these 2 seasons and ages together to make a perfect Oracle remake. This could be exactly what we are going to be seeing as this remake for The Legend of Zelda. But of course, this is all speculation and potential leaks on what's going to be happening. But what do you think about this? Do you think that we are going to be seeing a ground up remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? Because hey, it's more than due to get Ocarina of Time. It's one of the greatest games of all time, greatest music, soundtrack, pretty much anything goes with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. But wait, Oracle games. Now the Oracle games, since they were released, they really didn't get anything with them. They didn't really get so much as a remaster, it was just port after port. You can go ahead and play those on Nintendo Switch or Switch 2, but they aren't really updated in any way. And I think it might be time to see something like that because up to this point, pretty much every single Legend of Zelda game has been updated. Now, maybe not the original Legend of Zelda game, but could that be a Legend of Zelda remake that so happens to be happening? A full-blown remake of the original Legend of Zelda game just to share the 40th anniversary. That could always be a possibility. Maybe Nintendo is going to make that into a full-blown 3D game. It's not going to be a very long game, but that could be the remake that we're talking about. But the Oracle games also didn't get any love, and there's a lot of good features with the Oracle games, so maybe this is going to happen. A remake that is going to merge both of the games together. Who knows? I think that definitely would be really, really cool, but at the same time, The Legend of Zelda is vast. The 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda is going to be so awesome because remember in 2021 how we got The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. That was a really, really awesome remaster, or should we call it a remake? I would more call it a remaster, but overall, at the end of the day, it's The Legend of Zelda. What do you think about this? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and consider to hit the like button, maybe subscribing if you're new. I do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel. Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon, Mario, pretty much everything. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Consider to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.